Hello my loves, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Michaela. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel because you're going to love it here. I do lifestyle content, college videos, vlogs, videos about my locks, hair, wigs, all of that great sort. Make sure you tune in so that you don't miss out. In today's video, y'all, I'm going to be doing a video about my 1-year lock journey and just talking about my experience with locks and my opinion on locks and, you know, the purpose of me doing them and all of that great sort. So let's get right into it.
I remember when we started texting. I was playing it cool, you was flexing. I know I wasn't the only one you messed with, but it was good. I was on to the next one. I remember when you started checking.
For one, okay, I'm going to start with the purpose of why I grew my locks. I grew my locks to embrace like my naturalness more, embrace my hair more, embrace the culture. Before I got locks, y'all, I never wore like my natural hair out, my 4C hair. I never knew what to do with it. For me, it's a really big flex being able to say, oh, I can get out my bed today, put my hair in a ponytail and walk out the house. That was another reason that I got my locks, so that, you know, I can have that confidence of knowing I can do whatever to my hair. Like, and I'm gonna put pictures like as I'm talking about it. When I first locked my hair, y'all, I was like, oh my god. You see the pictures and videos of myself, I'm literally cringing at myself, looking at myself. I felt like a little boy, honestly, when I first got my locks. I never thought that people would actually walk up to me and say, oh, I love your hair. Oh, I love your locks. I never thought that I would get compliments on my hair. And just to like feel good about myself, like minus the people, to feel good about myself, and then on top of that, people in public see my hair and be like, oh my gosh, your hair looks so beautiful. It's just, it's an amazing feeling, like it really is. I started off my locks with 2-strand twists, and if y'all know, 2-strand twists and coils, your hair turns out different. Each lock is different when you have 2-strand twists versus coils. All your locks look similar. So anyways, when I started with 2-strand twists, about month 3 or 4, I could see the frizz and I could see where my locks were starting to bud and the twists within my hair were starting to form into locks, basically. So after that, my locks were still pretty short and I still wasn't really confident in them, so I wore wigs a lot. I have done a few protective styles while I've had my locks. Soft locks, butterfly locks, and doing wigs. If you do any type of soft locks or butterfly locks, definitely be careful. I guess it also depends on how you're locking it, but I would crochet the hair through my root right there. You just have to be very careful. You could damage your hair if you don't do it the proper way. So I think that wigs are probably the safest protective style to do, to be honest, because whenever I wear wigs, I just braid my hair back, I put a wig cap on, and then boom. I love the protective styles that I did with my hair, especially the butterfly locks. I think those were my favorite just because, I don't know, they just were my favorite. It really didn't take that long for me to do, and I kept them in for like 2 months. So, and I do feel like having protective styles really helped my hair grow. So let's go back to the way that, like, once again, I started my locks. So like mentioned before, I started my locks with 2-strand twists versus the other way that you can start them with coils. And I think you can also grow your hair with locks with braids, but most people start with 2-strand twists and coils. And so me starting mine with 2-strand twists, I honestly like the size of my locks, but I kind of do wish that I started with coils, only because, for example, my brother started his locks with coils and all of his locks are the same size and they're all like really thick. Don't get me wrong, I love my locks, but I do wish that I started with the coil method versus the 2-strand method. When you start with the 2-strand twist, it's easier to wear your hair out versus with coils, because you, like, y'all know how coils look. They look like little itty bitty worms in your head. So it was easier for me to start with 2-strand twists because if need be, I could wear 2-strand twist out. I kind of do wish that I started different with that. And then also my sizing. Once again, I do love my hair, but if I could go back, I do wish that I started with smaller parts versus these parts. And I remember the girl who locked my hair asking me, like, do I have a specific number of locks that I would have liked or something like that? And I told her no, like, just, you know, do what you do. and I kind of wish that I had paid attention more to the amount of locks that I told her to put in my hair, or I wish I was more specific instead of just saying like go for it. I think my hair would be kind of thicker if I had started with coils and then smaller parts. So that's the only reason I say those things. But other than that, I love my hair. You should never compare your locks to anybody else's, and I'm definitely not starting over. But those are two things that if I could go back to the beginning of my locks, I wish I could change. If you're watching this and you don't have locks, please make sure that you do your research before you just go ahead and start them. You know, do research on the different methods that people do and how people like them better and what would fit you more. Finding styles in general, I really have struggled with, just because feeling like my hair is too short to be able to do all the styles that I want to do. Of course, starting locks, you have to know your hair is going to start off short and that you have to grow into your locks being longer and being able to do different styles that you want to do. If y'all can't tell, my favorite style go-to is a pineapple ponytail. It's just, it's super easy to do. It don't take no type of time. I would definitely recommend, if you go to a loctician, getting your loctician to do a style for you if you just started your locks, because if you get a loctician to do a style for you, then 9 times out of 10 your style is gonna last for a really long time, and it's gonna help your hair grow because you're not messing with it, you're not doing different stuff with it. As far as everyday to-day styles, you just have to once again figure out what works for you. Really recommend, if you are just starting your locks, to go to a licensed loctician. That's one thing. If I had went to a licensed loctician from the beginning of when I started my locks, my hair would probably be a little bit longer than what it is now. When I first started my locks, I got a student from campus to start them off for me. And she did an amazing job. For whatever reason, I wasn't able to like get in contact with her to be able to retwist my hair. So I just started retwisting it on my own. And for one, I don't like doing my own hair all the time because a lot of times it takes a lot longer and I'm not able to get as crisp and clean parts. So I was retwisting my hair, and I'll try to insert some pictures of that. It really didn't look as crisp and as good as I wanted it to, you know? So I definitely recommend going to a loctician because they know what they're doing. They can get your hair started off growing really well. They can put your hair in different styles. And they'll make sure, if it's a good loctician, they'll make sure that it's crisp. The loctician that I have now, y'all, I love her. Every time I get my hair retwisted, it lasts for such a long time. And these parts, baby, them parts be crisp. I know a lot of people do locks in their home and stuff like that, but personally, I would say just go to a regular loctician just because they're licensed in it. They know what they're doing. Bouncing off of that, my loctician recently dyed my hair in October. Y'all can see I have a lot of new growth. When she dyed my hair, all of my hair was red. I will try to insert a picture of that as well. My entire hair was red from root to the tips of my end. That's another thing. If you dye your hair, you'll be able to see your new growth better. But you also have to keep in mind a few cons, and that's with anything. But I noticed that my hair bleeds a lot. My hair was all over my pillowcases. It was all over my feet. Y'all, when I say I was washing my hair in the shower, my feet was red. Y'all have to be careful if you decide to dye your hair. That's another thing with locks. Dye your hair, y'all. When you first start your locks, you can't dye them. You have to wait 8 months. So definitely dye your hair before you lock your hair, because that's what I did. My hair was like a ginger color and I dyed it myself. So it was like a tint of ginger, y'all. It wasn't ginger for real because I didn't know what I was doing. But yeah, dye your hair before you lock it. Or, you know, just wait however long you have to wait until you can actually dye it. But I think it's so fun to be able to dye your locks different colors because, you know, it gets you out of that like, oh, locks are boring, locks are basic, I can only do this with them, I can only do that with them. It makes having locks fun. It makes like you're able to switch up your look. And I've gotten so many compliments on red hair because I do believe that this color truly fits me the best. I don't think any other color, like maybe brown or something, but red really giving the girls. I've gotten so many compliments on it. So my day to day, what I do and how I care for my locks. So I usually spray them with water every day, and I know rose water is really good as well. And then I oil it like 3 times a week. Black castor oil or super growth oil is really good. I get a retwist about every 2 months. I wash my hair like every 3 weeks, every month. Yeah, I don't know how often y'all wash y'all locks, but yeah, I wash mine every 3 weeks, every month. So when I don't go to my loctician and I wash my hair on my own, I use Dr. Bronner's or Miele and conditioner after that. When I go to my loctician and I get a fresh retwist, you're supposed to wrap your hair up with a scarf or a bonnet so that your retwist stays kind of fresh. I haven't been really in the habit of doing that, but that's what you're supposed to do. I do it sometimes. I usually do wear a bonnet. I usually always wear a bonnet. I usually wear a bonnet, but you're supposed to like put it with the scarf too, just so, you know, it's just like with braids, so your retwist can stay fresh. Locks really don't require that much maintenance. Like, I think the most maintenance is just finding a good loctician to retwist your hair every month or so, however long you go without getting a retwist. Last thing that I wanted to mention, y'all, is basically overall, if you don't have locks and you're thinking about starting your locks, do research on them. Make sure that you're doing it for the right reason, that you're not doing it because, you know, it's a trend or whatever. I know a lot of people have started locks, whether they did it because it was a trend or they just wanted to try it. They started it and they combed their locks out within a few months because they just get impatient and they just don't like it. So just make sure that you're doing this, that you lock your hair for the right reason. Before I locked my hair, I already kind of had in my mind that it was going to be something that I plan on doing for a really long time. I plan on growing my locks for years, you know, and things can change, but hopefully if you plan on getting locks, you plan on keeping them for a pretty decent amount of time. Locks is one of the styles that I don't know anybody who couldn't pull off locks because they're just that girl, you know what I'm saying? If you decide to start locks, don't be afraid. I say go for it. Just do your research, figure out what method you want to do, a loctician that you're going to go to. Everything is embedded in these locks. It doesn't shed. Locks are a serious deal. It harnesses energy. It doesn't shed like regular hair. Just be aware of that. Just make sure that y'all are doing it for the right reason. Let me know in the comments down below. If y'all have started locks, let me know how y'all journey is going and how y'all take care of y'all locks and y'all experience and stuff like that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all in the next one.
Figure out you're gonna need someone when you figure out it's all right here in the city and you don't run from where we come from.